So really important to give the bike an overall wash first before we get stuck into cleaning the drivetrain, on the basis that if you don't, all that mud, dirt and grime is going to fall off the rest of the bike onto it and ruin the good job that we'll have done cleaning that up. First things first, either get a soft brush or a dirty rag and just brush the worst off of the mud. First thing you want to use is a bike cleaning spray just to help loosen the mud, get it off. And at this stage it's worth using a specific degreasing part to degrease the drivetrain. This is going to help melt away that old grease that's now full of the dirt and gunk. Using a clean rag, we're just going to wipe down and dry out the bike a little bit. That way we're not dripping any water on the drivetrain when we're getting the last bits of the mud off. The detail brush is going to allow us to get in and much closer into the rear end of the bike. You've got a hook claw section, which is going to allow you to fit in between the cassette sprockets and clean the muck out. It's normally got a hook part on it too, which if there's anything stuck or trapped in there, you can use the hook round. Bristles, also fine to get in there, brush the last bits of sand and mud out, and a long pointy section just to get in there a little bit looser. This is also going to be useful to get into the rear mech. For now we can see the degrease has loosened it off a little bit. We're just going to apply a second coating just to help really melt that bad stuff away. The reason why it's so important to clean the drivetrain is having a clean drivetrain means that all the grease, dirt and grime isn't grinding away and wearing down your components. Shifting wise, to clean the chain, it's normally a little bit easier if you bring the chain onto the outside cog. Okay, it's going to give you a little bit more access to the chain. We'll start with the top of the chain first, try and get the worst off. You can also spin the chain through the brush. Just be careful with your fingers, hands and fingers particularly when you're doing this, because it's quite easy to get them caught in with the chain, and I know of a few instances where people have hurt themselves quite badly, so just be careful of that one. Getting the detail brush in there, start to work on the rear mech as well, getting into those jockey wheels, in between the cages of the rear mech. That's really where the grease starts to build up and works as a grinding paste on your components. Moving the bike through the gears means that you'll have access to all the sprockets and cogs. Switching sides on the bike gives you access to different parts and therefore works well to get into the nooks and crannies to clean it all up. Now we've done the top of the chain, it's important that you do the underside, making sure if there's anything residual in there that's also getting cleaned out. Just run the bike through the gears. So at this stage you'll be able to tell if everything's nice and clean. You'll hear no grinding. You can see the chain moving nice and fast. Last stage, we're going to take our nice clean rag and dry all these components off, making sure we get in the chain all nice and dry, all the water off of there, because water's not really our friend on drivetrains. It's good to clean the bike with, but you want to make sure you get it all off and prevent any rust from occurring. Now we've cleaned the drivetrain, we've dried it, we're going to re-lubricate it so it's ready to ride for our next time we go out on the bike. It's this part here that requires a lubrication. A drip bottle like this, nice and easy and accurate to apply. And make sure you're getting it only on the parts needed. As you see, I'm lubricating the chain on this bottom part here, so I'm getting access to the contact part with the bike. If you lubricate from the top of the bike down, you're lubricating the parts that aren't making contact with the rest of the drivetrain. That lubricant should have slid nicely into the pivot points of the chain, making sure that it's functioning well and lubricated, protected against the elements. By taking that extra lubricant that's not needed off the outside of the chain, we're just making sure that mud doesn't have an extra surface that it can stick to. There we have it, our clean drivetrain. Ready to go.